Great work. Thanks so much for going through your stress in your life. I know it's such a big deal and it's quite confronting having to write it all down. So really, really well done for doing that. Thank you. And also, I loved that you can now look at it a little bit differently. So what are you in control of and what can we not control? Okay, so the things that we can control, fantastic. We're going to start moving in a positive direction to change each one a little bit at a time. So really, really well done on doing all of that work. Next video, we're going to talk all about energy. So energy zappers, so things that might be playing havoc with your energy, and energy boosters, so things that you can include in your life that can increase your energy levels. So that sounds really exciting, right? Because we can all do with more energy. So first of all, we're going to talk about energy zappers. So things that reduce your energy levels. So first of all, what do you think could be number one? We've just been talking about it. It is stress. So like I said, you can't always control all of the stress, but we do pour a lot of energy into dealing with day-to-day stresses. So like I said, if you can just relax a little bit about the things that you can't control, and then we can start to deal with the things that we can control, that's going to make a huge difference to your energy levels. Okay, so the next one is going to be alcohol. So alcohol is a big energy zapper on the body, because if you think really logically, so I'm just going to make it super simple so it's not going to be too complicated or too medical. Every time you have alcohol, your body prioritizes to deal with that alcohol in the body. So you've taken a drink of alcohol, it goes into the stomach, it's broken down, and it goes into the bloodstream, and your body does not like that because it is a poison. So it breaks down into a compound called formaldehyde. The liver has to process that. And it has to detox that. So your body's not going to be able to do any of its other good detoxes or fat burning or anything really super positive if you've got alcohol in the system. It also affects your brain and your motor function. It's going to affect the way you're able to exercise because it's depleting your electrolytes. So it has a knock-on effect. It's not just the alcohol you have right at that time. It's the next day. It's the dehydration. It's that electrolyte imbalance, and it's that liver having to deal with that alcohol. Okay, so the next one is a lot of sugar. Now, lots of people say to me, Angela, I don't eat sugar. I don't put it in my tea or coffee. I hardly eat cakes or chocolates or things like that. What I want you to know, and I'm going to do a whole video on this next module, is that sugar is in absolutely everything that is in a packet. Okay, so it is really tricky to avoid it completely. All right, but the more we can have just plain foods, which is fruit, vegetables, and proteins with some good fats, the more we're going to be able to avoid sugar. So the reason sugar is a zapper is because it is increasing the release of insulin to deal with that surge of blood sugar in your blood. And then so that increase in insulin turns off our fat burning. It can give you that increase in energy, pretty short acting, so you kind of get that little kick. Imagine what a marathon runner eats. They're sucking on pure sugar, or they're eating jelly babies. That gives them that little bit of energy to keep running. So that's what we're constantly doing, is giving ourselves a little hit. But the negative side of that is we come down and we crash and burn. So we get a little bit of a low blood sugar, which means we either feel tired and lethargic, a little bit cranky. You may have heard of the word hangry, where you're hungry and cranky. And that is because we're having a low blood sugar. So then what do? We use sugar again to pick ourselves up. Now, it might not be sugar in the way that you're thinking. Like I said, it's hidden in everything. But also carbohydrates get broken down into sugar. So breads, cereals, rice, potatoes, sweet potato, crisps, all of those things, even though they're not sugary, they get broken down into sugar in the blood. That causes that little high. Very soon after, we have that dip, okay? So that is a big one in reducing our energy levels. So the next one, kind of going along the same lines, is a diet that's low in nutrients. So that's why I've been getting you to track what you've eaten over the last couple of weeks. So that's why it's so important, because it's not just what you're not eating. So I'm not just looking for someone who's an angel who avoids chocolate bars. I'm looking for, are you getting enough good stuff? So are you getting your green veg, which has all your really good nutrients? Are you getting a rainbow variety of fruit and veg? Are you eating enough good fats? Because your brain is run on cholesterol and fat, and it needs enough to be able to function. Your hormones require fat to be able to be synthesized. So vitamin D, for example, if we don't eat enough fat, we're going to be low in things like vitamin D. Okay, so that's why it's really important to look at the diet. Another big one, which is always forgotten about, is dehydration. So this is something that's super, super common. You might think you're doing really well, but most of us are chronically dehydrated. So what is a good idea is to just slightly increase this by about 10% every few days. So if you're currently just drinking 1 cup of water a day, a few cups of tea, I want you to increase the water by 10%. So have 1.5 glasses of water, little bit like that. So for most of us, we need between 1.5 and 2 liters of water. If you're bigger or you're exercising more or you're quite sweaty, you might need more than 2 liters. If you have heart failure, listen to what your doctors have told you about what you need to stay under, which is usually 1 liter to 1.5 liters a day. So be conscious of that. Tea and coffee, I wouldn't count towards the total. Unless you have the heart failure, you do need to include your tea and coffee. So it's 2 slightly different things there. So the next energy zapper is poor sleep. So like I said in the stress video, make sure you're getting enough sleep, because that's super, super important. This varies from person to person. There's no strict amount, but I would say between 7 and 9 hours. If you need slightly less, that's brilliant. Apparently Bill Clinton only needs 4 hours a night to be, super on top form. So some of us need less than others. Make sure you're getting what you need, okay? If you find you're an early bird, then go to bed earlier, get up earlier. If you find you're the opposite and you need to go to bed late, then do so. Don't try and, change your body clock. There's always going to be a natural body clock for you. The best time to be asleep is between, that should be a.m., 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Okay, the reason for this is some really important hormones are released when you're asleep and when you're in the dark between these hours. And what happens is that's when we do our cell repair, our growth, all of the good things, and we allow our mind to rest. So people who do shift work, they've found to actually have a lower life expectancy because they're missing out on that crucial time to be asleep. Okay, so if you can, it's not a strict golden rule, but if you can be asleep by kind of 11 p.m, that would be brilliant, but definitely by 2 a.m. All right, so that's it for now. There are definitely other energy zappers. So if you do know of any others, so things like toxic relationships, fighting with people. Oh, medications. Sorry, that is super important before I forget. We can't always change these. We can ask our doctors about them though. So please do, if you think your medications are causing problems with energy levels, ask if you can change the time when you take them, and ask if you can change the dose of when you take them. Okay, so those two things might make a difference. So it's always worth asking about. All right, so have a look at the sheet below, so download it, and what I'm going to do is come back and we're going to talk all about energy boosters, how to increase your energy levels. So go and write down all the things that you think are currently zapping your energy, and then come on back. Great stuff. Thanks for writing down all your energy zappers. Were you a little bit surprised about which ones were relevant to you? So some of them we can deal with immediately. So getting rid of all the bad stuff can definitely make a huge impact on your energy levels. So that would be the number one tip I can give you, is any of those on your energy zappers list, if you can get rid of those or improve on any of those, that would be absolutely brilliant. Okay, then we're going to talk about energy boosters. All right, so energy boosters are things that can help to improve your energy levels from where you are now, and try and in small increments give you a little bit more energy every day. So as always, sleep is going to be super top up there with the most important thing. So if you can improve your sleep, please do so. Make sure your room is cool, you're not going to bed too late, you're not napping for too long in the day, you're not having too much sugar or caffeine late in the day, because that can definitely affect things. So trying to improve your sleep. The next is to be hydrated. So we talked about that in the energy zappers. So increasing your water levels, that can make a huge impact, and don't underestimate how great water can make you feel. Okay, now a little bit of a controversial one is slightly increasing your salt intake. Okay, now not to the point where you're going nuts on, putting a lot in your food, but what I want you to do is think about if you're having 0 salt and you've got a pretty good blood pressure, so a normal blood pressure, think about adding some real sea salt to your foods, so your vegetables and your healthy foods, and what that can do is help to improve your energy levels. Okay, now the next one is your vegetables. Vegetables contain the widest variety of nutrients, especially a lot of the vitamins that often we're deficient in. So increasing your vegetable intake, getting a huge variety of vegetables, can definitely help to increase your energy. Now, exercise at the right amount can definitely improve your energy levels. So not doing too much and not doing too little. A lot of people, when they start out, they find that exercise belongs on the energy zapper list. Am I right? So what we want to do is avoid getting to that point where we're so fatigued that we cannot go on in our exercise. So that's why I said, even if you try 1 or 2 minutes of doing some marching on the spot, or some seated leg exercises, or some bicep curls on the couch with some cans of beans, that's gonna give you a little bit of exercise without overdoing it. That is way better than going out for a 40-minute walk, coming back and not being able to move for 3 days because you're so wiped out. Okay, so exercises start low, go slow. So that's the analogy I want you to remember. Start low, go slow. I want you to be a turtle, not a hare. So I'd rather you be a turtle for 100 meters than a hare for 10 meters, okay? Because you're going to tire out much quicker if you're going faster. Even if you think I'm already going slow, I want you to go even slower so that you can last for a little bit longer, okay? So the next energy booster is quite a different one, laughter. So anything that increases the good endorphins in your body is really important. So people who are socially isolated, don't have anyone visit them, that can be a real energy zapper. So laughter, so even if it's just on the TV, putting on a show that's funny, having a good chuckle, that can really help your energy levels. Sounds a bit silly, give it a try. It's an easy one to try, and that can increase your endorphins, make you feel a bit better about everything, okay? Like I said with the medications on the zapper, so talking to your doctor about anything that could be causing your energy levels to be low. This varies a lot. So this is why it's important to talk to your doctor about them. So it could be your actual heart condition that's causing the low energy. So especially in that acute phase. So giving yourself a good 6 to 12 weeks to recover is super, super important. Like I said, medications, can you change those? Change the timing, change the dosage. Looking at your thyroid, because that's a super common cause of low energy levels. So making sure that they do a proper blood test on that, talking to your GP about testing and whether you need any extra medication for that. And then there's quite a few more. There's always lots of reasons for low energy. So that's why it's important to kind of get someone who's looking at the full picture, is looking at your vitamin D. So I'm going to write all these down on the worksheet below as well. So hopefully you can see that it just says vitamin D, which if it's low can cause super low energy. So have a look at all of those. Look at the worksheet below. Let's start thinking about which one of these can we add into your life to start increasing your energy levels. I'm going to say that the last one I'm going to talk about is caffeine. Caffeine actually belongs on both sides. So caffeine in the short term increases your energy levels. Okay, so it gives you that little hit of energy, gives you a little kick, makes your brain function a little bit more efficiently. We get on with our day. You see everyone commuting to work, drinking their coffee. It's because they can't survive without it. So caffeine has that immediate effect of making you feel better, making you wake up, and that's what it does. It has a response on the sympathetic nervous system. However, it also belongs in the energy zappers, and the reason for that is after you've got that initial hit of coffee, so the first time you've ever had it, you imagine your energy levels go up, and then what happens is they come down. Okay, so to get that same hit, we need to go back up with more coffee, but you only really ever get to where you were before you ever had any coffee. So it's a little bit of a vicious cycle. You need coffee to make you feel normal, but actually you felt normal before you had the coffee. So getting down a little bit in the coffee or the tea as well can help as well. It has the knock-on effect of affecting your sleep. Most people who say, oh, it never affects my sleep, actually they get up for a wee. Caffeine can cause that. And they get up super early because their sleep cycle's disrupted. So actually it might be affecting things more than you think. So have a look at the caffeine. How many are you having? Write it all down on your list of energy boosters and zappers. And I will see you in the next module. Thank you so much for joining me. This has been super exciting. And I will see you soon.